Stan Azen was born in the Republic of Moldavia in 1978. He graduated from Moldavia State University in 2000 with specialization in law. He immigrated to the United States in 2007. At this time, he is pursuing a nursing degree at IRSC. He has been a volunteer for the Venus Project since 2011.
So I would like to talk about transitional period and steps we need to take to create condition for implementation of the resource-based economy. As you can see from our presentations, the Venus Project include detailed approach to a variety of topics on behavioral modification, system thinking, and social design, which is impossible to thoroughly describe in a limited amount of time. So please keep in mind that this is just an outline for one of many possible scenarios. We must emphasize that it is not possible to achieve social nucleation and demilitarization or any major changes overnight. But we are certain that our direction will demonstrate feasibility of our proposals, that it is indeed possible to create new society without forced redistribution of wealth and resources. It is much easier and vastly more productive to maintain society by providing access to the necessities of life instead of inventing new legislations and new ways to wage war in order to govern human behavior. We don't need a political system. We need a system of abundance with free access to all that people need to live prosperously and be creative. Human and animal rights, environmental protection, safety and security must be essential part of total social design. The transition to better and saner society, to better global civilization can only be achieved by evolution, not by force. By producing solutions which will demonstrate that greater personal and national security goals can be achieved without use of military force, we will create enough pressure to initiate transition from fictitious economies of boom and bust to sustainable and flexible processes based on dynamic equilibrium. In other words, we must make this system subside under weights of its own insufficiencies. At present, it seems that we are unable to achieve any real progress. No matter what aspiration and progressive ideas some individuals might have, most of the people cling to habitually comforting way of thinking that failed to produce long-term solutions humanity required to evolve. What we need is an alternative vision, alternative goals, and alternative environment to induce and solidify individual and social change. The Venus Project can provide all of these alternatives, and we are ready to lead civilization into a new era of human evolution. Our goal is to take every step possible to make transition to resource-based economy with minimum amount of social isolations that mean without deprivation, hunger, war, suspension of human rights, and international conflicts. Right now, we're working to present the Venus Project direction to international community. We have many groups and individual volunteers around the world who helping us with these tasks. Our message is very well received across the cultures. We're certain that millions in many countries are aware of our direction, and many will join in us as soon as we start implementation of the next phase of the Venus Project. So our next step is to showcase our optimistic vision, allowing people to experience new concepts of the future firsthand. This can be achieved by realization of the first experimental city system, which in many varieties of design conceptualized in our presentations. This city can be built in any country with sufficient infrastructure and energy production, construction processes, and relatively stable economical and political climate. The Venus Project will provide blueprints, designs, and guidance for specialists involved. Our innovative systemic approach to the construction processes will allow us to build city relatively fast, with minimal resource waste, in the same time achieving high quality of the end product. The city project designed in a way that even in its initial stage, it can be fully functional as a research and educational center, greatly improving the region of its location by sharing technologies and organization processes with local population. When fully developed, city is going to demonstrate what our future can be when we implement resource-based economy. It's going to be fully sustainable, practically pollution-free system with its own energy and food production, transportation and other services available without use of money within the city. New environment of social and personal organization will induce change in values of city inhabitants, providing behavioral modification needed to create society of the future. The main goal at this stage of operation is creation of the international network of educational and research centers without vested interest in monetary system. Research projects going to be focused on development of fully automated mining to product to recycling system, creation of advancement in behavioral technology and behavioral science, social and economical studies, social cybernetization, and integrated renewable energy systems, along with other areas that allow us to create economy of abundance. Any country will greatly benefit from investment into new city system designed by the Venus Project. They will spur growth of the new class of socially integrated industries, attracting variety of specialists in sustainable technologies, social entrepreneurs, artists and tourists from all around the world, in the same time increasing energy production, energy independence, social stability, as well as lessen regional budget demands. Our approach can be easily scalable to include multiple regions and even whole countries in order to create large-scale sustainable systems. Specialists will work with local governments to advance and streamline processes initiated by a network of experimental cities, applying best of our findings to improve quality of life of every citizen of the host country without involvement into local political process. It is very important that major portion of the funding for the first experimental cities will be provided by general public, not by corporations or other profit-seeking entities. That way, nobody could buy its way into the city. And we could keep it clean from self-centered ideations imposed by monetary system. We're aiming to build experimental cities in every sufficiently developed country around the world in order to get them involved in sustainable operation as soon as possible. This network of cities will serve as a scaffold of new global society to come. In the next phase of our development, we will extend invitation to other countries to participate into the Venus Project International, a joint venture that will create highly technological society on the neutral territory. One of the major conditions will be proportional investment of the resources and agreement between participants to make the Venus Project International immune to all political decisions of the current system. New technological society will be comprised of multidisciplinaries and technicians, working to research solutions to the common problems of humankind. The general policies of that society will be military and political neutrality, studies toward elimination of scarcity, improvement of human condition, and ways to bridge the differences between nations. The Venus Project International will share research findings with participated countries and with any other regions that will agree to join us on the basis of mutual cooperation. At this stage of development, major indications toward our goal will be implementation of the wide-scale automation by participated countries, allowing its citizens to shorten the work week or eliminate certain work occupations entirely. Governments will have to commit to policies that aim to full social and economical support of its population. High level of production at marginal cost, along with appropriate personal value shift of the general public, will allow governments to build first free access centers to provide people with high quality of goods and services without price tags, greatly reducing crime levels and rise standard of living of every individual. Incentives will be provided to induce interest into advancement of educational level and acquiring new specialization needed in automated society. People who are going to enroll into new educational programs will be provided with best available instructors, equipment, resources, as well as with highly automated personalized research facilities. First wave of new specialists will be science promoters and educators that will work to inspire more people to enjoy new educational programs. Vast military industrial complex will be converted into special contingency force of first responders. The Advisory Board of International Technological Society will survey the problematic areas of the globe to direct special contingency force in order to deal with real problems, such as natural and technological disasters, epidemics and pollution cleanup operations, food and water shortage relief, and other humanitarian activities of that sort. When international political relationships are going to be stabilized on value of peace and cooperation, we expect initial merger of these closely developed countries to form united continental systems. It will initiate first truly global integrated research management and distribution processes that will produce need to create large-scale integrated energy and transportation systems. Main focus of development will be channeled to lagging regions in order to shorten their time to join UCS. This approach will allow us to break millennia-old relationships based on mutual distrust and competition. Unconditional help provided to underdeveloped regions by United Continental Systems under the guidance of the Venus Project International will allow us to arrive to agreement to declare Earth resources as a common heritage of all the Earth people. When benefits of freeing people from regimentation and subjugation will become evident, it will be possible to initiate global survey of available resources to determine further steps we need to take toward truly planetary society. This will be a preliminary stage of implementation of the resource-based economy. At this stage, we anticipate suspension of trade and use of money, transition from human to cybernetic governments, eradication of private property, labor, poverty, unemployment, and most of the crime, elimination of weaponry worldwide, and end of separate nations. All goods and services will be produced and delivered by fully automated systems and will be available to all people without restrictions, making universal standard of living higher than at any time of our history. People will pursue scientific knowledge in multiple areas as a lifelong learning experience. This society will initiate terraforming megaprojects, counteracting effects of global warming, harness power of ocean currents, and geothermal energy, making giant leaps with technologies unconceivable today. But this will be just the beginning. We can exceed by far even wildest dreams of all utopians of the past by applying best of our thinking and best of our technologies directly to our lives. The future is always changing, and there is no limitation to change. There is no final frontiers. It is we who shape the future. Thank you.